Now that you've seen Treasure Planet, I'll bet you've wondered, how did they do that?
Oh, have mercy.
Well, let's go find out. Let me take you on a private guided tour backstage here at the Walt Disney Studios. You'll see how a group of dedicated artists, filmmakers, and technicians took the best of traditional Disney animation and merged it with cutting-edge digital technology to create a one-of-a-kind universe of adventure and exploration. Come with me and we'll explore the wonders of Disney's animation magic. One of the many magic elements of Disney animation is that we've been doing it for decades. This has created a giant library of actual animation and animation art. Around here we call it the ARL, which stands for Animation Research Library. For Treasure Planet, they needed to combine a hand-drawn pirate with a computer-generated arm, but they didn't know if the combination would work. They knew they had to try it out, so they went right to the ARL, where there was a pirate in storage, Captain Hook from Peter Pan. Take a look at how the Disney guys taught an old pirate a new trick.
One of the steps into the future for us is how can traditional animation and CG animation blend on the screen so that you believe they're part of the same character. Well, to test this out, we went to the past. We took a look at some animation that really had a lot of vibrancy and life to it. And the challenge was, could we take a CG element and put it onto that and see if it could still carry the same emotion, the same acting? Well, that's what you're going to see now.
You will go ashore, pick up Tinkerbell, and bring her to me. You will go ashore, pick up Tinkerbell, and bring her to me. You will go ashore, pick up Tinkerbell, and bring her to me.
Pretty interesting stuff, huh? Just another way the Disney animators use every resource on hand to create Disney's animation magic. Did you ever wonder why the characters look the way they look? Characters don't just spring to life on the first drawing. Many artists try out their ideas of what the character should look like in hundreds of drawings. Once a final design is determined, a model sheet is created. That way, every animator who draws a character can check that they're drawing it the same way. But since the character must also move believably in 3 dimensions, there's another model to be made. Take a look at this.
Treasure Planet combines computer and traditional animation techniques to create a fantastic universe. The film's blend of tradition and cutting-edge technology extends to the creation of the small statuettes called maquettes that are created for reference purposes.
Officially, the first film that Disney created where they hired a sculptor specifically to sculpt maquettes, that film was Pinocchio. Because the character was a marionette, they thought, well, let's build a marionette to use for reference. And from there, it evolved into becoming a whole department that created sculptures.
It can't be just like a mannequin in a store or something. It's got to be something that tells you his personality, and when you look at him, you can feel the life of that character. It's also got to serve to inspire the acting.
Well, this is used primarily as reference for mass and form and complicated camera angles. They can turn it, rotate it, and see how the shapes move. Even now at this rough stage, as you turn them towards you, this distance becomes much shorter as you're looking at it. It stretches back out.
This first sculpture, Kent and I worked on for 4 months to get the design right, and so I can actually see in 3 dimensions what it is I'm drawing. With this full figure now, we're going to be able to see the chest and the belly, the arms and the legs, which we don't get in the bust.
Today, Kent Melton is sculpting what will become the very first maquette in the history of Disney animation that incorporates computer-generated elements.
There's a lot of firsts on this film, and my job is no exception. Basically, the elements that are computer generated on the character in the film are likewise computer generated on the maquettes.
While Kent Melton sculpts his first pass at the maquette, CG animator Eric Daniels works closely with Glenn Keane on the computer models for Silver's arm, leg, and headpiece.
We have a three-dimensional representation of the arm that we've created, which you see right here. This is sort of like a little sculpture, but it's like a virtual sculpture inside the computer.
Once the dimensions of the computer elements are worked out, Eric Daniels provides computer files to a company that specializes in a technology called stereolithography. Laser beams are shot into a liquid which hardens layer by layer into a three-dimensional plastic replica of the computer design.
In making this maquette, you really have three unique mediums of expression in art form. You have drawing, where it's just graphite on paper, and you have computer, where it's very much the same kind of a process, but through tapping on a keyboard, and sculpting, where you're actually tactily feeling the form and dimension.
Finally, all the elements are combined to create the first ever Disney maquette with computer-generated parts.
Wasn't it supposed to be his left arm that was
I mean, who would think this many years later we'd still be doing new things, but we are. It's exciting.
Making sure each character has the right screen appeal is another part of Disney's animation magic. You've seen how an animator works, but the animation drawing is only one of several steps in the animation process. First comes the storyboard, where the scene is planned out like a giant comic strip. When the storyboard is set, it's filmed, timed out to a scratch soundtrack. This is called a story reel. The next step combines layout, that's the sets and camera moves, with the pencil animation. Here's a scene from Treasure Planet that shows what I mean.
with Silver, the fact that he was an alien is interesting, but you got to go somewhere further with him. And from the original book, he had a peg leg. What would the modern version of that be? Well, why not make it from a sideboard instead of just a peg leg? And how about a mechanical arm and part of his head as well? I mean, how much can we do the CG blending of the traditional? Something we've never tried before, where you actually blend the hand drawn and the CG. Probably the most rewarding part of it to me is to see how seamless the traditional and the CG work together.
Jimbo! Ah, now don't be too put off by this hunk of hardware. You see? Whoa! Jimbo! Ah, now don't be too put off by this hunk of hardware. You see? Whoa! Jimbo! Ah, now don't be too put off by this hunk of hardware. You see? Whoa! Jimbo! Ah, now don't be too put off by this hunk of hardware. You see? Whoa! Jimbo! Ah. Ah, now don't be too put off by this hunk of hardware. Whoa!
What you finally see in an animated feature is the result of a lot of people, a lot of work, and a lot of steps. but it's all a part of Disney's animation magic. So you think you've seen all the Disney animation there is? Bet you're wrong. How about the scene of the dwarfs eating soup in Snow White? Nope, that scene never made it into the film. Remember when Mickey went after that broom in Fantasia? You never saw it. Well, not like this anyway. How about Pocahontas and John Smith's tender love song from Pocahontas? That scene got cut too. Almost every film, animated or otherwise, winds up losing a scene or two along the production path, and Treasure Planet was no exception.
This next bit you're going to see, we really hated to cut, but we ended up restructuring the movie to start out with Jim solar surfing, and so this bit had to go. This actually shows Jim working on his solar surfer before he rides it, and he interacts with a little alien kid, and it kind of demonstrates his longing for a father.
You know, we were trying to sort of warm Jim up and show that he has this softer, more vulnerable side. In a way, it was our little homage to Catcher in the Rye with Holden Caulfield, this kind of tough, brash teenager, but around little kids, he had this softer side that he wouldn't show to adults.
Do you want to throw away your entire future?
Whatever.
Mrs. Hawkins, my juice. Yes, I'll be right there, Mrs. Dunwoody. Jim, you are not leaving this house. Oh.
Throw away my entire future. What future?
Wow. Did you make that solar surfer?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I got a scooter, but it's busted.
Oh yeah? Well, let me take a look. Yeah, that's cool. But look, here's your problem. The cable's loose. Here, hang on.
Okay.
Just give me 2 seconds and I'll...
We got it.
No problem.
You did it. How come you're so smart, Dad?
I guess I take after you, Ethan.
You want to see how fast I can go?
Making hard decisions about what stays and what goes to make a movie better makes even the cutting room floor part of Disney's animation magic. It's all